So Chelsea have a very big problem in their hands to solve when it comes to like incomings and also like outgoings. But in this video, I'm just talking about the incomings basically. So on the pitch, yeah, and every position, you feel like Chelsea have like more than one. They have at least one quality players in each position, right? You know, you have up front, you have currently João Pedro, and then out wide, um, on the right hand side, you have Kopama and Estival, right? And which you can also see on the inside, they also have like Kopama and Enzo Fernandez, right? And at the base of the midfield, you have likes of Romeo Lavia, Moises Caicedo, also Enzo Fernandez, and you know you have Andre Santos, Dario Esugo, yeah, and that's it for the midfield base of the midfield. Yeah. And then right back you have the best right back in the world, basically, Rich James, right, and then you have the best backup right back in the world also, Imalo Gusto. So at left back you have Marco Kurela and yeah, to some extent you can say Jordan Ato, and then in the centre back you have um Trevor Chalobah, and you have Levi Koyo, right, who is currently injured. I've been injured since like I think the beginning of the season, right, and then you have Wesley Fofana, you have Josh Achimpong, a youngster, and then you have Tosnado Abioyo, and yeah. So now you'll notice that I didn't mention anything about the left wing because the left wing options we have at Chelsea at the moment, they are draws. Alright, they are very bad. You know, you look at the match against Leeds and you look at what Garnacho did in that match. Alright, he is the best according to some people, yeah, and I also share that sentiment to some extent. You know, he's the best off-ball winger. You know, if you just need someone purely to attack space, someone that a winger that has nothing to do with maybe like dribbling or all of that, just attack space. You know, score goals, take shots off. Right, I think he's one of the best at that, and he's also like one of the best ball carriers also as a winger, right? And he's top two as the best ball carriers at Chelsea at the moment, right? Now, but then the fundamentals of a winger, you know, when you think of the position wingers, the one thing you attribute to them is they can carry, they can dribble, most importantly they can dribble, right? And then they can make things happen. They can unlock defense by either dribbling, by either seeing what others can't see to some extent, right? Taking off the pass, creating chances, just being a menace, basically, just creating havoc for the opposition defense, right? Those are the fundamentals of a winger. Then you look at what we've had previously, to some extent, I think left wing is a position that we've always had one of the best at, one of the best in the league actually, or to some extent in the world, right? We've had Eden Hazard, we've had William Borges to some extent, you've had Pedro. This I've forgotten his surname. Pedro that currently I think he currently plays for Lazio, right? Who the Pedro that came from Barcelona, right? And then we've had Callum Hudson-Odoi, the young Callum Hudson-Odoi. And then I think that was where we had Gianfranco Zola. Yeah, that's that I think that was his position also. So we've had like really really good players in that role. Yeah, and it's just absurd that at the moment we do not seem to have a proper out and out winger for the left wing. Now I'm saying this because the last couple of matches that we've watched, we've had Garnacho playing that position, we've had Pedro Neto playing that position, right? You can exclude Pedro Neto because that is not a left winger, right? So, but when you look at how Garnacho plays in our system as a position based team, yeah, you are bound to you are bound to not have so much space, and then you are bound to like always having to beat your man to create something, and he's not been able to do that on a consistent basis. I don't think he's done that in the last two matches he played, to be fair. Alright. So that's like one of the main priority for Chelsea going into the summer, when it comes to like summer recruitment. And then we look at the options that are available for Chelsea, right? We are going to be very optimistic, and we're going to be realistic also. And then we have realistic targets and we have optimistic targets also. And then just like every club in the world at the moment, the optimistic target, the big money target will be Yan Diomande. And now I'm very skeptical about Diomande because he is playing in the league where we've seen Jadon Sancho create outstanding numbers when it comes to goals and assists. He's played in a league that Gittins looked like a proper talent, yeah, someone with world class talent and world class potential, right? And it gives you this skeptical vibe, right? The Yeah, but one thing that I noticed, like one thing that stands or that makes him stand apart in that list, is because it feels like he's scoring more, right? And this is not something that you attribute to someone like Gittins or Christian Pulisic while they were playing for Dortmund or in Germany as a whole, right? Because he seems to know how to score goals, right? He's more of a high scoring, like he's more of a goal scoring winger than a creative midfielder, a creative winger rather, And also he has pace. He's fast, right? And he can also dribble on the run, which is going to be very. I feel like it's something that's going to be very very vital, you know, if he's going to move up the food chain. I mean, when it comes to quality of leagues, all right. And there is one person that I'm also interested in when it comes to optimistic signing, big money signings, and it's Kenan Yıldız. Kenan Yıldız is a very very good player. You know, so he can play in between the lines. He can play as a wide winger, and he can play as maybe like someone like Morgan Rogers. You know, so in between the lines basically. So inside 10 or wide winger. So he's very very good in the sense that he has a decent amount of dribbling. Yeah, he has, and then he dribbles a lot. Right, I think he has over I don't know, maybe over 100 dribbles completed so far. Was it last season or this season? I'm not sure. But yeah, and then he takes a lot of shot at goal, right? And then the quality of shot also separates him from the rest of the available options, right? He also a goal scoring winger, right? He blends is a mix of both, a goal scoring winger and then a dribbler, and he can also carry the ball so well. You're right. Those are the big money signings. If you want to ever pull off a big money signing this summer recruitment. So now, one person when it comes to realistic targets, right? One person that stands out for me is Mika Godts, Mika Godts of Ajax. Initially, when I saw Mika Godts play, you know, he seems like I feel like he was playing at a level, you know, that you accustomed um to the Netherlands league, Eredivisie, right? There was no clear um difference or separation between him and other players in the league, like other wingers in the league. If you get what I'm trying to say, that was the first time I saw him play, and I I saw his goal yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I think I saw his goal and it was brilliant, right? Even though I think it should have been a bit more decisive instead of taking extra touches trying to dribble one another, right? And he's currently scored more than 20 goals, right? So that also gives you something to work with. Yeah, you can argue the fact that he's playing in the weaker league, right? But then he's scoring goals. I mean, we've had players playing. We've had wingers that played in Eredivisie and they will score that number of goals. Yeah, look at the likes of Akim Ziyech. I don't think he's ever recorded something around 25, 27 goals. However, right? Which I think if Mihago is not already close to that, he should be able to maybe finish the season around that number. So it's quite impressive, and then the way he dribbles is also very very impressive. Also, yeah. One thing I think he needs to work on is he needs to work on absorbing contacts rather, because that is one thing that separates the best dribblers from the rest. Right? Look at the likes of Eden Azari. Look at the likes of currently. Look at the likes of Yamal. And then you look at the likes of Neymar and all. They are wingers that are able to absorb contact, right? And then still do what they want to go and do, right? So that separates the elite from the others, right? So yeah, it's an interesting option for me personally, right? But then if you are going to have someone like that, right? That means as our only LB signing, left wing signing, that means we are betting like that Gittins will come good, right? Because normally you want an experienced winger and then a budding winger to learn off the experienced winger, right? And in this case, I'll prefer someone like someone like Kenan Yıldız or maybe Yan Diomande, right? And then be like get that and get Mika Godts, and that gives you a solid option on the wing, right? Now I'm quite bullish on Jim Gittins when it comes to like potential, but he was not shown that much um desire or that much hunger when it comes to like taking players on, like what I saw while he was playing for Dortmund, right? I think that is one thing that needs to be back into his game, right? And that is one thing I look forward to when I'm looking at wingers for players like for a team like Chelsea, because our left wing they are not there's no I don't feel the joy in them when they've had to like take on their fullbacks, right? It feels like they are clueless, they have nothing to do, they have no creativity, in their head, because someone said that, as a winger, everything you have to do, yeah, is here. So like 80% of what you have to do is here. Yeah. Your legs just execute the 20% or 10%. Right. So but then our wingers, yeah, it feels like 80% of what they want to do, yeah, is on their legs, and then 20% is just here. And then when you are thinking of 20%, and then there is no solution, like you can't find a solution, that means that you probably like mess it up. And that is where it's like that's where you find someone like Ganacho when he starts to like dribble and then create things out of nothing. So yeah, I think that is one part where we need to really like work on and hopefully get right. And the other part, you know, would be the center back. But just for this video, we're just going to be like looking at the wing options basically. People can also argue the fact that you have Giovanni Quinda coming in, right? Which is he is a good lad, right? And then it makes sense him coming in. Probably like delay our recruitment in the left wing, because he's played this season more as a left winger for Sporting than as a right winger. Even though I still believe he's a better right winger than he's a left winger. I mean, there is more maturity in the way he plays than the way someone like Estevao plays. To be fair, and then Estevao is like a brilliant player, right? Don't get it wrong, right? But there's just this, he knows Quenda knows when to dribble and he knows when not to dribble. He knows when to pass, when not to pass. He knows when to, there's just a sense of maturity. For Estival, he always wants to dribble, right? He always wants to take players on, which is a very very good trait. But what he doesn't understand is the fact that every moment or every carries or every dribble doesn't really have to end up with him shooting at goal, right? Sometimes you dribble to create space for your opponent, and then for your opponent, for your teammates, you dribble to create space for your teammates, and then when they are free and they are the best option, you lay off the pass to them, and then they score an easy goal. But for Estevao, it's like every action it takes has to end up with him shooting as well, which is fundamentally wrong, right? I don't know, but I just feel like I've seen so many top wingers, and then what separates them from the rest is because they're able to either they're able to either create a big opportunity for themselves to score goals, right? Or they're able to create a big opportunity for their team to score goals, right? So so that when you are being marked off, right, it creates space for others. Not like when you are being marked off, then you have to like go back to pass the backward, if you get what I'm trying to say. So for Giovanni Quenda, it's more like, he he doesn't overdo everything. He understands the beauty in simplicity, right? He understands his decision making is top, right? Knows when to pass, has eye for pass. Basically, I feel like someone that actually like derives joy from assisting, from creating something out of nothing, right? From passing, from just contributing in any form of way, um, they can, right? So for the left wing position for Chelsea, I think to be realistic, we'll probably be looking at someone like Mika Godts, to be honest. Mika Godts or Kenan Yıldız, if you're able to like pull off a sell off Garnacho, right? And also you look at inward, you have JC Derry, as an academic player for Chelsea, right? Logically, you feel like he's someone that needs to go out on loan to amass experience before coming back to Chelsea, and then I've been fighting for a starting shirt, right? And they've not really upped him yet, because if they have, we'll probably have seen more of what he can do, and then to have made decisions to be like much more easier in the summer if you are going to sell both him and Garnacho, we are going to send him on, and then sell Garnacho also. But for now, it just feels like, okay, we don't know what he's capable of yet in the men's team, playing for the first team, right? It looks like someone that has potential, but we've not just seen enough of him. So is it that he's most likely going to stay with Chelsea next season, right? Which probably, like, delays his developmental progress as a player, right? Because we could have been using those moments where we'll most likely be sitting on the bench to be playing for a first team, like for the first team for another club, but on loan, right? So yeah, I just think that for me, I think, we should be looking at players who are excited to dribble, right? You've seen you Doku for Manchester City, despite the fact that he doesn't score lots of goals, he hardly scores actually, yeah, but he creates so much havoc, so much hazard for the opponent, that he's just a key player to Manchester City. And now you have Czeki. Czeki is excited to take on players also, right? Those are the type of wingers, like those are type of wingers you need to unlock any defense. And that is what should be like our primary focus when we are trying to recruit for that particular position. So it's either going to be someone that really wants to dribble, or someone that is really, really, really good at taking their chances, and someone that is really, really good at um, creating chances for themselves or for their teammates. So yeah, let me know what you think. Who should Chelsea go for in the coming summer recruitment or summer window? Yeah, and yeah, let me know in the comment section. Thank you, and please like, follow, please like, subscribe, and drop your comment for me, and then I will interact with everyone's opinion. Yeah, thank you.